What was first just a dream has become a frightening reality for those who may oppose us.
Hello there.
This is where the fun begins.
Rosario Dawson's Ahsoka Disney Plus show has made 3 notable changes for Grand Admiral Thrawn. The Big Bad was first teased all the way back in The Mandalorian's 2nd season, when Ahsoka Tano made her first live-action debut. After that, over 2 years later, he was once again name-dropped in the Season 3 of The Mandalorian. But now, as of the latest episode of the ongoing Ahsoka series, Lars Mikkelsen's classic villain is finally here within live-action, but he's a tad different here and there, since the last time fans saw him, especially in the end of Star Wars Rebels, the animated show, which of course is very understandable given the circumstances of transitioning a character from animation to live action for one thing, but also with the idea of that, well, some time has passed now. So of course that brings us to our first acknowledgement of a notable change that we've seen here with Thrawn. Bringing him into live action for the Ahsoka series would be his age, of course. While this one might seem obvious though, however, there is one clear difference between Thrawn and the last time audiences saw him. He's older. In fact, he's been exiled for over 10 years in the Star Wars timeline. This means that the infamous villain is estimated to be around 70 years old during the events of the Ahsoka series, and for reference, his species, the Chiss, only live for about 80. In part, this is why an older actor, like Lars Mikkelsen, was the perfect role for him, also not to mention that he's his voice actor, as we saw in the Rebels animated show. But is an older Thrawn a good thing for the show's heroes, or something terrible? Sadly, it's probably the latter of that, and that a more older Thrawn will be more experienced, have more knowledge, and just know a little bit more, be more wise overall. Thrawn thrives on experience and knowledge, of course, and that really has been a big play with the Ahsoka series, especially as we're already approaching the finale. 2 things, though, he's undoubtedly gained in droves thanks to his time in exile as well, his experience and knowledge. He's also had plenty of time to plan for what he'll do when he is getting back to his home galaxy, the main Star Wars galaxy. If there's one thing everyone in the universe should fear, it's Thrawn with a plan. And that's exactly what we're seeing unfold here. The next big notable change with Thrawn between animation and bringing him into live action would be his posture, or his physical features just overall. Thrawn has always had a strong presence in any room he's ever stood in, but this time around he seems far more commanding than normal. Perhaps it has something to do with a harrowing experience Thrawn and the remainder of his people and army had to go through in order to survive their exile. Hopefully, Ahsoka, the Disney Plus show overall, or an upcoming another story in another medium, whether it's a novel or a comic or a video game, will shed some light on some of those events, and I think that's something that would be really awesome, having some type of comic that would fill in that 10-year gap of what Ezra and Thrawn were doing on Peridia, because they've been there for about 10 years. There are some other physical features and differences in Thrawn's appearance as well. For one, there's his highly debated shade of blue. In the Disney Plus series, he is a tad lighter than many expected. While it's fairly close to how he was animated in the Star Wars Rebels show, other illustrations of the character gave him a far deeper blue. Thrawn is always a tad more out of shape as well, though that makes perfect sense for his character now that he's much older and has spent some time away in this other galaxy. There's a smaller detail, the definition of the Chiss's forehead and his overall more facial features is far more of a V-shaped than before, and isn't so much of a curving around his eyebrows as seen in the previous deceptions of his character in Rebels. Thankfully, those deep, endlessly disturbing red eyes are just as terrifying as they have always been. Especially seeing him now in live action, he looks terrifying with the red eyes just alone. And so, while some fans have complained about his physical features and his differences physically from when we last saw him in Rebels versus now in the Ahsoka series, there's many reasons behind that, both explained within canon and out of canon. Of that, it's his voice actor for one thing. He's not going to look exactly identical to the way that the animated character has. And there's other explanations that are in canon, that it's been 10 years, he's older now. Of course he's not going to be as in shape. This brings us to our third notable difference that we've seen with Thrawn, is that he seems to be dependent on the Force. Thrawn's ultimate weakness is anything he can't understand or anticipate. In Star Wars Rebels, his two greatest defeats were because of those very reasons: a giant Force-connected mystery beast named Bendu, and hyperspace traveling space whales. Now, after his long exile in this other galaxy of Peridia, it seems the Grand Admiral has opened up a little to the mystical powers of the Force, has done a little bit of research and learned a little bit about the Force. Of course, I'm not saying in any medium that he's Force sensitive though, however. While the Chiss race does have its own experience with Force sensitivity though, however, it's not generally utilized amongst their kind for anything aside from space navigation. Past that, Thrawn's knowledge of the Force is only secondary, and he's never used the power himself, of course. In the Ahsoka series, not only does Thrawn seem more comfortable with those unknown forces and Force sensitivity overall with understanding it, but he is actively learning how to utilize them to his advantage, even though he himself cannot actually use the Force, as shown by his alliance with the Great Mothers, these Night Sisters. While he doesn't directly control the Force, he's clearly got the hang of using the Witch's powers to his own benefit, and the Witches, the Night Sisters, aren't necessarily using the Force directly, it's more of a magical power. For one, it's how he was able to orchestrate Morgan Elsbeth's big rescue overall, but there's also something strange about his new army, and I already have a whole nother video here on the channel discussing that, so go check it out. Almost like they might be held together by the same magic that kept the late Morok Inquisitor up and running. This here all being said, these are the many notable differences that we've seen with Thrawn now that we have him in live action with the Ahsoka series, and moving forward with the overall Mandoverse. Future shows of the Mandoverse, future seasons of The Mandalorian, future potential seasons of the Book of Boba Fett. Star Wars Skeleton Crew is said to be the next live action Star Wars show for one thing, and is of course also said to be set within the Mandoverse here as well. And if for anything, I love these different changes that we've had with Thrawn. They make them notable, noticeable to us fans, of course. It's something that they want us fans to notice and see and recognize, because that's how the story and narrative is being told, and that's something that I love. This here all being said, guys, I want to know all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. Your theories with Thrawn and the overall Ahsoka series, especially as we're approaching episode 8, the finale of the Ahsoka series. I would love to hear all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. Grab that subscribe button and hit that notification bell. We're covering and discussing all types of Star Wars related news, leaks, rumors, theories, and breakdowns here on the channel. So if you guys are into any of that, go ahead, grab that subscribe button and join us here today. And so, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a great one. Thanks so much for watching today's video. May the Force be with you as always. Peace out.